All right, we're on day 11, 4.7, graph linear functions. You see this says day 1, so we're going to work on this for 2 days. But for today, we're going to start with linear functions. So tell whether the ordered pair is a solution of the equation. When you're asked whether an ordered pair is a solution, how am I going to solve this? I see 2x plus 3y equals 2. And they're asking me, does the coordinates 3, -2, are they a solution? So if I was to graph, Caitlin, you should be on OneNote.
I know,
If I was to graph this, 2x plus 3y equals 2, would I have the coordinate 3, -2? How am I going to go about solving this? Bruce, an idea?
Bring x over 2. Negative x is
So you want me to rewrite the equation so it's slope form? We could do that, but I don't have to. But you're absolutely right. I could end up writing this as slope form. And so if I wrote this in slope form, then I could get a grid paper, and I could graph it, and then I could look and see if that coordinate points there. If you're hearing that, that's actually one of the options. Write it in slope form, get your grid paper, graph it, and then go look at points 3, -2, and are they on the line. We could do that. There's a shorter and easier way to solve it, though. Brianna?
Put 3 and -2 in the place of x and y in the equation.
We're going to just substitute these in. Remember, this is my x. This is my y. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in there. I'm going to rewrite the equation. 2 times the x. We said x was 3. Plus 3 times y. Y is -2. And it needs to equal 2. Well, let's see if this is doing it. Sean, make taking your notes with me. Notebook should be open up so you can do these notes with me. One note, please. And we have 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times -2 is -6. And equals 2. Alright. 6 plus -6 equals 0. And then we have equals 2. So does 0 equal 2? Is that a true statement?
No, it's false.
So it's a false statement. If it's false, then no. This is not an ordered pair that's a solution to the equation. If we did Briggs' way and we went to point slope form, we graphed it, we looked at the line, 3, -2 would not be on that line. I did the number 1. I want you right now to go ahead and work on number 2. Show all your work. I'm going to start doing it up here as well. Try not to look up at my work yet. Focus on yours. See if you're doing it right. All right, so I've set up my equation. Have you set your equation up the same way? I should have, because remember up here in the beginning they had a -x, or the opposite of x. So I've written the opposite, and x was -5, minus 4 times 2 equals -3. Are we okay up to that point? Okay. So what is the opposite of -5?
+5.
So we just have 5. -4 times 2 is -8. 5 minus 8. So I'm minusing 2 whole numbers, but the 8 is larger, so I'm going to get -3. Does -3 equal -3? Is that a true statement?
Yes.
Yeah. So in this case, we would say yes. Remember, if we get a false statement, it's a no. If we get a true statement, it's yes. No. All right. On number 3, I'm going to let you guys do this one, and you're going to use your calculators. It says the weight of a person on Mars is given by the function y equals 0.371x, where x is the weight of the person on Earth. If a person weighs 130 pounds, find the weight of the person on Mars. I'll pause. I want you to find it. All right, back to this one. How did you solve the Jackson?
I multiplied 0.371 times 130 pounds.
Yeah. All we had to do is put those in. And what did you get?
I got 48.23 pounds.
Oh, and I like that you even put the answer in with the label. 48.23 pounds. Very good. All right, today what we're going to work on is I can evaluate, graph, and compare linear functions. Example 1. Evaluate the function when x is 203. What does it mean when I ask you guys to evaluate something? What do you think that's really asking you to do?
Solve it.
Now, we're going to solve it. But how many answers do you think I'm going to get on this one? 3. Here's the easiest way we're going to set this up. We're going to go ahead and make a table. Now remember, f of x, the function of x, is just kind of a simple way of saying like y equals 12x plus 1. So I'm going to go ahead and say over here though, I'm going to use the function of x. And I want to solve for this. And my equation change my little line here. I'm actually changing all this. I'm going to write my equation down, 12x plus 1. And what I'm going to have actually here first is x. I'm going to have the function. And then remember, we're evaluating the function. I want to find the answer of the function. So I had those two backwards at first. I want to know what the function equals, or what the y equals. So the first one is, I'm going to say x is negative 2. I then see that x is going to be 0. And I see x is going to be 3. Because that is what they asked us when x equals negative 2, x equals 0, and x equals 3. I do the first one. 12 times negative 2 plus 1. Brianna? Very good. The answer would come out to be negative 23. 12 times negative 2 is negative 24. And negative 24 plus 1 is negative 23. I do the next one. 12 times 0 plus 1. Ooh, that one should be simple. What would the function of x equal then?
Well, I know that 12 times 0 is 0, and we're adding plus 1.
Okay. And we would get?
1.
Very good. You explained it perfect. You just didn't give me the answer yet. And the last one is 3. So 12 times 3 plus 1. Remember, with our PEMDAS, we do our multiplication before addition. And we get final answer of
37.
Alright. Now, our answer, we should write our answer this way. They were asking us, what is the value of the function? Or what is evaluate the function? So I have to solve for the function. I'm going to go ahead and say the function of x is negative 23, 1, and 37. we should have our 3 answers listed. Remember, this right here was our domain. That's like your x coordinates. And then this becomes our range. Remember, our range was like our y coordinate. So if we were to graph this, it would be -2, -23, 0, 1, 3, 37. Okay? I want you to work on this with a partner. We're going to do this one. So I'm doing one, and then I want you to do it all by yourself to show me you can do it. So once again, they have h of x, which is just that fancy way of saying our y, if you want to look at it that way. You need to set up your table. X. Our equation is 1/2 times x minus 6. And then I need to know what that, well, I wrote y, but I'm going to write h of x, which is essentially our y. Remember, our values are -2, 0, and 3. I'll pause our recording. Right now, I want you all to be focused on this and solve for h of x. Okay, what did you get for your value? I went ahead and I wrote my equations out just so we could see if we needed any refresh on how we did it. I just input the x in for each equation. What do we get for the h of x when x is -2? Jackson?
-7.
We would get -7. Good. Aaron, paying attention, please. What are we going to get? Actually, Aaron, we'll go to you. Aaron, what did you get when 0?
-6.
-6. Good job. And 3.
You would call it me, actually.
-4.5. Oh, this one got tricky. Let's show the work. 1/2 times 3 would give me 3/2. So then if I have 3/2 might want to write it 2. 3/2 minus 6. I could go ahead and change this to 1.5 minus 6. So then that would give me -4.5. Is that what you said, Kate?
Yeah.
Very good. So, if you're confused on how to subtract with that fraction, one way to do it was I changed 3/2 just to the decimal. You could have also made 6 into 6 over 1 and then went up to 12 over 2. And done 3/2 minus 12 over 2, and then you would have had that way. All right, last example. Now this one is one that I've seen on the quizzes and tests and homework that people miss because they're not reading the question carefully. It says, find the value of x so that the function has the given value. Alright, so I want to find the value of x. I'm solving for x. When the function has the given value, there's my function. And what's the given value? What given value are they trying to have me do? Briggs?
5, 2.
No.
Yeah, 2.
Just the 2. So when they write this out, they said g of x equals -x plus 5. And then they have that semicolon, and they're saying 2. So they're letting me know that this 2 is what I want to have my function be. Right here in our instructions, find the value of x, so we are solving for x when the function has the given value, when the function is 2. So we rewrite this equation. Instead of saying that function g of x, I just say 2 equals negative x plus 5. And I have to solve for x. I get x on the side all by itself, so I'm going to minus 5. This is kind of like our one-step equations that we did. 2 minus 5 is negative 3 equals a negative x. And we always want to get our x positive. So what would positive x be? Positive 3. You could look at it by saying, hey, I'm going to times it by negative 1, times this side by negative 1, and I'd have 3 equals x. Or I always write my variable first, x equals 3. Okay, you're going to do the exact same thing by yourself. We're solving for x. So I'll pause our video. Go ahead and solve this equation just like I did. Alright, so I'm seeing a lot of people have the correct answer. The number one mistake I saw was people getting the answer of, I think, positive 13.5. Number one reason they missed that was the given value here is negative 6. And they put in 6. So they said 6 equals negative 2x minus 21. You have to make sure that you're doing the right value. When we put this in, the majority of you as I came around had the right answer. I add 21 to both sides. This is a two-step equation that we're solving. Negative 6 plus 21 is 15 equals negative 2x. Divide by negative 2. And I can get x equals, I could leave this as negative 15 halves, or we could say in a decimal, negative 7.5. Alright, your homework for Monday. There's a couple things I need to say, so make sure we're listening. You'll have time to talk here in just a second. First, this is what we went over today. So if you pay close attention, you took the notes, you should be able to do today's homework. If you're lost, I will put the link to this video on my content library one, so you can go back and check anything. 2, if you did not finish your Ed Puzzle video, there's 3 of them. Those are all worth grades. Please go back and do them. I saw, because people did not do them, I saw a lot of people not turn their homework in today. It's not that I'm worried about the grade, it's that I'm worried that you don't understand how to do direct variation. So, go back, make sure you look at your video, and make sure you turn the stuff in.